Welcome to I Am, Unveiling the Illusion of Self, written by Mindful Literary. In this profound journey, we'll explore one of humanity's greatest inquiries. Who am I? Together, we'll peel back the layers of illusion that create our sense of self, from the stories we tell to the masks we wear. This isn't just a book, it's an invitation to rediscover the essence of your being. As you listen, let go of preconceptions and step into the vastness of your true self. The journey begins now. Introduction, the Great Inquiry. The eternal question, who am I? The question of identity is one that has haunted humanity throughout history. It whispers to us from the depths of our consciousness, urging us to reflect on our true selves. Who am I? This simple yet profound question demands exploration, pushing us to dig deep into our thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. As I ponder this enigma, I realize that my identity is not a static concept. It evolves, shaped by my choices, relationships, and the environments I inhabit. This quest for self-understanding often feels like standing before a vast mirror, with countless reflections staring back at me, each representing a different aspect of who I am. In my journey towards understanding, I've discovered that the quest for self-awareness can lead to moments of profound insight and transformative experiences. As I ponder my past, I recall times when I've confronted my fears and insecurities, leading to breakthroughs that changed my perspective. Each moment of introspection has been a stepping stone toward greater clarity. It is within these challenging reflections that I have shed layers of confusion, allowing my authentic self to emerge. I invite you to consider moments in your own life that have sparked similar revelations. How did they shape your understanding of who you are? Consider embracing the process of self-reflection in your life. Set aside a few minutes each day to think about your values, aspirations, and the experiences that have defined you. This dedicated time for contemplation can lead to a deeper sense of self and clarity about your place in the world. By navigating your own internal landscape, you may uncover paths to understanding that you never knew existed. The roots of human suffering and the illusion of identity. Attachment to a fixed identity can create a deep well of suffering. I've often found myself clinging to labels and roles that society, my family, or even I imposed on myself. The belief that I must fit into a certain mold not only confined my expression, but also paved the way for pervasive dissatisfaction. Each time a part of my identity came into question, whether through criticism or personal change, I felt a pang of anxiety. It became evident that my happiness hinged not on the essence of who I am, but rather on the validation of a static identity. Understanding the truth about our identity can revolutionize our experience of life. When I began to embrace the concept that the self is not a fixed entity, but rather a fluid and evolving aspect of our being, I felt a significant weight lift. The identity I thought was so crucial started to reveal itself as an illusion, a construct shaped by circumstances, thoughts, and experiences. Recognizing this malleability has allowed me to step away from the need to label my existence. Instead of seeing myself through a narrow lens, I've started to view my identity more like a river, ever-changing and adapting to the flow of life's challenges and joys. To ease suffering and foster peace within, it's essential to practice this recognition daily. A simple exercise I've found helpful is to question the aspects of my identity that seem fixed. What if I let go of the idea that I am only this or that? I ask myself, who would I be without this label? This gentle inquiry creates space for growth and discovery. Embracing a fluid sense of self opens the door to joy and tranquility, allowing me to live more fully in the present rather than anxiously striving to uphold a manufactured persona. Why understanding I is the key to liberation. Understanding the concept of I is crucial for personal liberation. The ego, often seen as the villain in many spiritual narratives, isn't inherently bad. Instead, it's a collection of our thoughts, experiences, and identities that we cling to for a sense of self. This attachment can lead to limiting beliefs that bind us, perpetuating a cycle of self-doubt and fear. By recognizing that the ego is not the essence of who we are, we can begin to dismantle these constructs. I discovered that when I stripped away these layers and confronted the beliefs I held about myself, I found freedom in the spaces between them. No longer did I have to live under the weight of expectations and labels that didn't serve me. Demystifying the ego is not about annihilating it. It's about understanding its role and recognizing its transient nature. For many of us, the ego is like a protective shield we wear. It's designed to keep us safe, but in doing so, it often limits our potential. I learned that by interrogating my beliefs, questioning their origins, and exploring their validity, I could challenge the narratives I had internalized. Each time I questioned a limiting belief, I felt a little lighter, as if I was shedding a layer of my own self-imposed restrictions. This process not only brought clarity, but also allowed me to see that many of my fears were rooted in misunderstandings about who I truly am. Each revelation offered a glimpse into the vastness of my being beyond the confines of the ego, propelling me towards an authentic existence where I could express myself more freely. Starting the journey of self-inquiry is both thrilling and daunting, but there are manageable steps we can take. One effective way to begin is through journaling. Writing down thoughts is a powerful tool for gaining insight into the workings of the mind. As I sat with a blank page, I would let my thoughts flow without judgment, allowing insights to surface organically. Sometimes I posed questions to myself like, who am I beyond my job, my relationships, or my achievements? This act of inquiry invited deeper reflection and revealed beliefs I didn't realize I was holding. Mindfulness practices also play a transformative role in this journey. By paying attention to my thoughts without attachment, I learned to observe rather than judge. Techniques such as meditation helped me cultivate a calm mind, creating space to recognize when my ego was speaking. I often recognized moments when my reactions stemmed from fear or insecurity, and in those moments, I learned to pause and breathe. This simple practice of awareness became a doorway to liberation. Furthermore, engaging in conversations with others who are also exploring their sense of self can provide new perspectives and foster a sense of community. Sharing experiences allows us to see that we are not alone in our struggles and that liberation is achievable through connection and encouragement. As I embarked on this path, I found that each small step led to profound shifts in my understanding of myself. The key to this journey is curiosity. Approach your thoughts and beliefs with an open heart, ready to learn rather than to judge. Ask questions, stay present, and be willing to embrace the unknown. Remember, liberation is not a destination, but an ongoing exploration of who you are at your core. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Separation. The Story of the Ego, How I is Born from Perception. The ego forms itself from the fabric of our perceptions and experiences, a tapestry woven through countless moments. As I grew, I began to notice certain patterns that shaped my understanding of the world and myself. Each interaction, every glance and word exchanged, added layers to this sense of self I now call my ego. I remember early moments, like playing on the playground, where I learned that my laughter brought some happiness, but my frown could create distance. Each reaction made me aware of how others saw me, and thus how I began to see myself. It's interesting that these perceptions were never truly about who I was, but rather about how I was perceived. Every experience that made my heart race or my stomach churn served to solidify this emerging identity. The thrill of winning a game or the sting of rejection became the building blocks of how I would define me. This self-concept is often a reflection of what I perceive, leading to a constant reshuffling of who I believe I am based on external affirmations or criticisms. It becomes easy to see how this growing ego can seem so very real, yet it fluctuates like a mirage, manipulated by the ever-changing landscape of my experiences. As the ego thrives on separation, I noticed how it subtly began to drive wedges between me and others. The desire to maintain this separate identity affected my relationships, twisting interactions into a battle of us versus them. I often found myself comparing my life to those around me, evaluating my worth based on achievements and appearances. In those moments, I could feel my ego puffing up, convincing me that my value lay in my distinctiveness. However, this need for separation led to isolation as I grasped onto perceived differences instead of celebrating our shared humanity. Through reflection, I've learned that the ego's insistence on individuality often obscures the truth of connection. The fear of vulnerability told me that showing my true self could expose weaknesses, potentially threatening the fragile identity I had constructed. Yet when I did open up, I discovered a deeper understanding of myself and the people around me. It turns out that the very thing I feared, integration and shared experiences, was a path to a more profound sense of self beyond the limitations of the ego. Embracing shared moments reminds me that we're all woven from similar threads, much more alike than different. To cultivate healthier relationships and a kinder self-perception, it's vital to observe when the ego starts to entrench itself in thoughts of judgment and separation. Awareness can be a powerful tool. I began practicing mindfulness, allowing me to step back and recognize the moments when my ego tries to dominate. This practice helped me respond rather than react, seeking connection over division. A simple yet effective tip is to remind myself that in the vast tapestry of life, my individual thread is part of a larger design where connection flourishes beautifully. By focusing on our similarities instead of our differences, we can enrich our own narratives and celebrate our shared journey. The drop in the ocean, an exploration of individuality within unity. Imagine a drop of water suspended in the air, shimmering with its own unique identity. Each drop, much like us, carries its own story, shaped by its experiences and surroundings. But what happens when that drop re-enters the ocean? It dissolves into the vastness, becoming part of something far greater. This metaphor illustrates how our individual identities, vibrant and distinct, contribute to a larger tapestry of existence. We are all drops in the ocean of humanity, shaped by our own lives yet interconnected with others through shared experiences, emotions, and dreams. Recognizing this connection not only enhances our understanding of ourselves, but also reveals a profound truth. While we are each unique, we are never truly alone. When we acknowledge that we are part of this vast ocean, we begin to feel a sense of belonging. The ocean reminds us that every drop matters, that each individual identity is valuable within the greater whole. This realization can shift our perspective. Isolation can be transformed into connection as we find solace in our shared humanity. By embracing our relationship with others and the world around us, we can cultivate empathy and community. It's as though we are part of a grand, dynamic movement, where every wave of compassion and understanding brings us closer together. As I navigate my own journey, I often reflect on this metaphor of the drop in the ocean, allowing it to guide my interactions with others and inform my understanding of belonging. To foster this connection within yourself, try taking a moment each day to reflect on how you fit into the larger picture. Consider journaling about your experiences and the ways they link you to those around you. Share your unique story with others and listen to theirs in return. Each drop has its place in the ocean, and by openly sharing and engaging with one another, we can create a vibrant community that honors both our individuality and our collective spirit. Chapter 2. The Masks We Wear. Social Identities, How Roles, Labels, and Expectations Shape the I. From the moment we are born, society begins assigning roles and labels to us. These labels often come with expectations, acting like invisible threads that weave themselves into the fabric of our identities. I remember distinctly being told as a child that I was the smart one in my family. As a result, I started to see myself through that lens, equating my worth with my academic achievements. This formed a kind of a shell around my self-concept, compelling me to prioritize grades and intellect over other facets of my being. The pressure to fulfill this identity often left little room for exploration beyond what was expected of me. Each label we carry, whether it's the athlete, the artist, or the caregiver, shapes not only how we see ourselves but also how the world perceives us. These roles can create an internal dialogue that mirrors societal expectations, forming a self-fulfilling prophecy where we act in ways that align with these labels, often at the expense of our desires or authentic interests. While some societal roles can serve as a guide, leading us towards our potential, they can also become cumbersome shackles, binding us to a narrative that may not truly reflect who we are. I've often found myself caught in this cycle, feeling like a performer in a never-ending play, playing roles that were scripted for me rather than those I desired to embody. This brings me to a key challenge: shedding these imposed identities to uncover our authentic selves. Letting go of what others expect of us can feel daunting, almost like peeling back layers of an onion, revealing raw and unexpected emotions. This journey isn't just about breaking free from external expectations. It's about the internal struggle too. It requires self-reflection and a willingness to confront the fears and insecurities that those labels evoke. As I've navigated this path, I've learned that it's crucial to create space for personal exploration beyond societal confines. Finding new ways to define myself has unearthed passions and desires I didn't even know existed. By engaging in activities that ignite genuine joy, I've begun to replace those rigid labels with a more fluid understanding of my identity. This is not an instant transformation. It takes time, patience, and often a good deal of courage. Embracing our complexities and gradients allows for a richer, more nuanced sense of self. A practical tip to start this process is to challenge yourself with one simple question. What do I enjoy doing that has nothing to do with what others expect from me? Ask this question regularly, and you'll gradually unpack the layers surrounding your authentic self, revealing the freedom that lies in simply being who you truly are. A prince and a beggar. How switching roles reveals the fragility of identity. One day, in a kingdom not unlike any other, I found myself drawn into a curious tale of identity and the roles we inhabit. It began when the young prince, cloistered in his lavish castle, grew curious about the world beyond the opulent walls. In his heart, he held a desire to experience life as his subjects did, to understand their joys and sorrows, stripped of crowns and titles. Meanwhile, a beggar who often loitered outside the palace gates, a wily man with keen eyes and a quick wit, longs for the warmth of the hearth and the richness of the prince's life. So began an unlikely exchange. The prince dressed in rags, taking to the streets, while the beggar donned the prince's golden garments. How quickly and easily these identities shifted, revealing how fragile they truly are. The prince stumbled through the bustling market, discovering both kindness and unvarnished truth from the common folk, while the beggar, seated upon the throne, simulated the weight of power but found the loneliness that accompanied it. This game of switch only deepened their understanding of self and others, a heartfelt adventure that factored in both the light and shadows of existence. As I watched them navigate their new lives, I reflected on the impermanence of the roles we play. Life has a way of testing us, pushing us into boxes crafted from expectation and circumstance. Yet, it became increasingly clear that beneath the garb of royalty or poverty lay a shared humanity. When the play ended, truths emerged. The prince learned that his worth was not rooted in his title, and the beggar discovered that power can isolate rather than elevate. This fluidity in identity calls into question how easily we label ourselves and others. The rich tapestry of life isn't just about social standing or wealth. It's about understanding and kindness. Grasping this offered both men the chance to reassess their lives without the limitations set by their previous stations. In some profound way, they returned with a newfound wisdom, steeped in humility and compassion. In our own lives, it's essential to remain grounded in our true essence, regardless of the roles we populate. The lesson here is not only about the masks we wear, but also about acknowledging the myriad of experiences that contribute to who we are. By understanding the fluidity of identity, we become more resilient and empathetic. Taking time to step into another's shoes can enrich our perspective and foster connections. Whether we dress in rags or silk, what matters is the heart beating beneath the fabric. Remember that everyone around us, from kings to beggars, shares the same core humanity. Cultivating awareness of our shared experiences can lead us to a deeper understanding and appreciation of our complex selves and the diverse world we inhabit. Chapter 3. The Weight of the Past. How memories create the illusion of a consistent self. Memories are the threads that weave the tapestry of who we are. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning until we lay our heads to rest at night, our experiences are recorded in the ever-evolving ledger of our minds. These memories are not just random snapshots. They create a narrative that shapes our sense of self. When I reflect on my life, I find that each memory acts like a chapter in a book, contributing to a storyline that feels undeniably cohesive. For instance, when I reminisce about childhood adventures or tribulations, the emotions tied to those events blend together to form a broader understanding of my identity. This narrative isn't merely a collection of events. It serves as a comforting structure that helps us make sense of our lives. However, it is essential to realize that these memories, while vivid and seemingly reliable, are often tinted by emotion and perspective. They shift and change, reflecting our current beliefs and feelings, but we tend to experience them as fixed points in time, a consistency that might not always be accurate. While embracing our memories can provide a sense of continuity, there's a fine line between acknowledging our past and becoming captive to it. When I hold on too tightly to who I was based on past experiences, I sometimes restrict my own growth. It's as if I'm wearing a pair of glasses that only allows me to see a limited view of myself, one that is shaped by past decisions, relationships, and mistakes. This fixation can prevent me from evolving into the person I want to be. For example, if I constantly identify with the failures of my past, I risk allowing those failures to define my present and future. The narrative of my life then becomes riddled with self-doubt and missed opportunities. Instead, It's empowering to recognize that I can rewrite my story at any moment. Our identities can be fluid and adaptable, giving us the freedom to move beyond the constraints of our memories. Embracing change and creating new experiences fosters personal growth and allows us to build a richer narrative that genuinely reflects who we are becoming. To navigate this complex interplay between memory and identity, it can be helpful to practice mindfulness. By staying present and cultivating awareness, we can appreciate our memories without letting them dictate our future. Journaling or reflecting on moments that evoke strong emotions can be a powerful way to examine how these influences shape our day's choices. As we learn to separate our memories from our sense of self, we pave the way for a deeper understanding of who we are, one that is not just rooted in the past, but open to all the possibilities of the future. The river never flows backward, yet it remains the same river. Change is an inevitable part of life, much like the flow of a river. The water may shift and transform with each passing moment, but the essence of the river remains unchanged. This metaphor resonates deeply with our own journeys. As I reflect on my experiences, I realize that my sense of self has been a collection of moments, decisions, and transformations. Each choice I've made has created ripples in my life. Even though I may have become a different person through various experiences, the core of who I am, my values, desires, and spirit, remains intact. Accepting that change is constant helps to alleviate the fear of losing ourselves. Instead of coming to grips with loss, we come to understand and embrace growth. Embracing change opens doors to self-discovery and acceptance. Every challenge I faced forced me to question my beliefs and assumptions, leading to deeper self-understanding. It was through these moments of introspection that I learned to accept the parts of myself that I once resisted. Change can feel daunting, yet it is often the pathway to uncovering hidden strengths and deeper insights. By welcoming the unknown and the inevitable shifts it brings, we allow ourselves to evolve. I started to view changes not as endings, but as new beginnings, a chance to redefine my relationship with myself and the world around me. It's in this acceptance of change that we find wisdom. The wisdom that life is a river, and while I may not flow backward, I can certainly navigate its currents with grace. To truly benefit from the wisdom found in embracing change, it can be helpful to practice mindfulness. Taking a moment each day to reflect on the changes occurring within and around us can foster gratitude for the experiences that shape us. Journaling about thoughts and feelings regarding transformation can be a powerful tool to appreciate how far we've come. Accepting that change is a fundamental part of being human allows us to cultivate resilience, strength, and ultimately a deeper understanding of ourselves. Chapter 4. The Ego's Dance, Desire and Aversion. How Cravings and Fears Fuel the Illusion of I. Cravings and fears often dance together, shaping our identity and reinforcing the idea of I. When I think about my deepest desires, whether it's the longing for security, love, or success, I realize these cravings can become the very building blocks of my ego. They feed into my self-concept, promising happiness and fulfillment if I only chase after them relentlessly. Yet, what's also present in this equation are my fears. Fear of failure, fear of abandonment, fear of the unknown. These emotions take hold and can dictate my actions and reactions, making me feel fragile yet overwhelmingly powerful at the same time. The more I cling to these desires and allow my fears to inform my choices, the more I strengthen the illusion of a separate self, a distinct I that feels real but is actually just a collection of fleeting thoughts and sensations. In the quest to unveil a more liberated version of I've learned that stepping back from my cravings and fears is essential. This involves reassessing what I truly need versus what I want out of habit or societal conditioning. For instance, when I notice a craving arise, instead of immediately succumbing to it, I pause and ask myself why I desire it. Is it because I feel empty, or am I genuinely hungry for that experience? Similarly, when fear begins to creep in, I practice acknowledging it without letting it dictate my actions. This conscious separation from cravings and fears creates space for a different kind of awareness, one that whispers that I am more than the sum of my desires and fears. Embracing this freedom can be like emerging from a fog, allowing me to see that a profound sense of self is accessible just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. A practical tip I have found helpful is to engage in mindfulness practice, which can help in observing thoughts without attachment, ultimately leading to a deeper understanding of who I truly am beyond the noise of cravings and fears. Chasing shadows under the noonday sun. Chasing shadows under the noonday sun feels exhilarating yet fruitless, much like pursuing fleeting desires and persistent fears that dance just out of reach. I often find myself running after dreams that seem so vivid and enticing, but as I extend my hand, they dissolve like mist in the warmer light of midday. These desires whisper promises of fulfillment, but ultimately lead me in circles, leaving me breathless and empty. The shadows are ever shifting, urging me to grasp at them, but when I try to capture them, all that remains is a growing realization that what I seek is not solid. It's insubstantial and temporary. The chase teaches me that pursuing these shadows often distracts from what truly matters, my inner peace and clarity. Reflecting on this chase, I come to understand the power of looking within rather than seeking validation from the world around me. I realize that true contentment does not hinge on fleeting achievements or the opinions of others, but resides in the quiet moments where I embrace my own worth. When I pause to settle into my thoughts and feelings, the noise of external expectations fades, revealing a deeper, more profound sense of satisfaction. This inner contentment is a steadfast light, far superior to the flickering shadows of transient desire. Cultivating a habit of self-acceptance brings a sense of joy that does not depend on external conditions, reminding me that the sun within can shine even brighter than any light I chase outside. To truly find peace, I can practice gratitude for what I already have and embrace my journey without the pressure of constant comparison. By nurturing the quiet flame of contentment, I create a sanctuary within myself that no amount of external recognition can replicate. Engaging with my own thoughts and feelings not only opens the door to deeper self-awareness, but also enriches my understanding of what I genuinely want from life, steering me away from the unfulfilling pursuit of shadows. Chapter 5. The Mirror of Relationships. Seeing the I through others, projection and reflection. Our interactions with others often act as mirrors, reflecting back hidden aspects of our identity that we may not be consciously aware of. When I find myself in conversation, the way others respond to me reveals things about my character, my attitudes, and even my insecurities. It's fascinating how a friend's laughter can highlight my sense of humor, or how a disagreement can expose my need for validation. In each exchange, our companions hold a piece of the truth about who we are, gathering layers of self-awareness through the details of dialogue, body language, and emotional reactions. At times, I may recognize a reaction in someone else that brings forth something I need to address in myself, whether it's a strength I should embrace or a flaw I need to confront. These reflections, whether they are positive or critical, help me piece together my identity more effectively than any solitary contemplation could. Using relationships as a tool for self-discovery transforms how I experience my connections with others. Every friendship, partnership, or acquaintance can become a classroom where I learn about myself. I have noticed deep insights surge forward when I allow myself to be vulnerable and open to the dynamics at play in these relationships. For example, when I share my feelings and observe how my words land with others, I gain a clearer picture of my communication style and the emotional triggers I might possess. This journey into self-exploration through relationships encourages me to seek feedback and confront constructive criticism, revealing the parts of myself that are often hidden by my biases. Each interaction, filled with its own lessons, contributes to an ongoing story of growth. Embracing this process allows me to learn continuously, honing my identity while nurturing connections that enhance my understanding of myself. Being aware of how I project my own feelings onto others can be a game changer. Sometimes, I find that I view others through the lens of my experiences and emotions, which can skew my perception. Understanding that my feelings may not reflect the reality of the other person's situation paves the way for deeper empathy. Each time I choose to step outside of my perspective and appreciate someone else's experience, I illuminate parts of myself that are underdeveloped, promoting growth and understanding. The balancing act of reflection and projection fosters a richer tapestry of relationships, each one a potentially powerful source of insight. As I dive into these interactions, I remind myself to approach them with an open heart and a curious mind, knowing that every person I meet is a valuable guide on my path to self-awareness. Turning relationships into a spiritual mirror. Relationships are a constant in our lives, filling our days with interactions that can either energize us or drain our spirits. Yet, what if we took these relationships as a mirror reflecting back to us our strengths, weaknesses, and unspoken fears. When I began to view my relationships in this light, I discovered that they could reveal deeper truths about myself, guiding me toward personal growth. Each person we interact with holds up a mirror that shows us aspects of ourselves we might not usually see. A loud friend may reflect my own insecurities, while a calm partner might reveal my tendency to rush through life. By consciously engaging with the dynamics of these relationships, I learned to ask myself, what am I feeling right now? What does this reaction say about me? Understanding these soulful exchanges can bring incredible insights that enhance my self-awareness and spiritual journey. One way to deepen this understanding is to practice mindfulness during conversations. Focus on how you feel during dialogues. Take mental notes when someone frustrates you or brings joy. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and ask yourself why you feel that way. Write down these feelings and try to connect them to your past experiences, beliefs, or fears. Another exercise involves journaling after social events. Reflect on the interactions you found challenging or uplifting. What triggered those emotions? How did they mirror aspects of your own personality? The more you explore these instances, the more you'll uncover patterns that can lead to greater self-awareness. Additionally, consider setting aside time in your day where you consciously appreciate the people around you. Acknowledge the qualities in them that you admire. This exercise creates a space of gratitude that reminds you of your shared humanity, fostering a sense of connection and insight. By actively using your relationships as tools for growth, heeding the reflections that others cast upon you, you begin to unravel the layers of your own identity. To make this practice even more effective, try to approach every interaction with curiosity and openness. Ask questions not just to learn about others, but to learn about yourself. This way, you can foster meaningful communication that enhances your understanding of both yourself and those around you, turning ordinary moments into powerful opportunities for self-discovery. Chapter 6. Beyond Ownership. Mine and not mine. Why clinging to possessions, ideas, and people strengthens the ego. As I look back over my life, I can see how deeply attached I have been to my possessions, ideas, and the people I cherish. Each item in my home, from my favorite books to the gifts from loved ones, has contributed to the story I tell about myself. This attachment creates a framework within which I define who I am. The car I drive, the clothes I wear, and even the opinions I hold become reflections of my identity. They reinforce my sense of self. When I think about this, I realize that clinging to these elements can build a wall around me, making it difficult to see beyond my narrow viewpoint. The thoughts and beliefs I hold also serve as pillars for my ego. I become adamant about my opinions and hesitate to embrace new ideas. It's as though by holding onto my beliefs, I am simultaneously holding onto my self-worth. This reinforcement of identity, built on attachments, often blinds me to other perspectives and potential growth opportunities. The struggle I face is that while these attachments provide comfort and familiarity, they can also limit my freedom to evolve and change. When I began to explore the idea of releasing some of those attachments, a new clarity washed over me. Letting go of a few possessions was oddly liberating. I found that in the absence of these physical items, space opened up not just in my home, but also in my mind. The act of decluttering became a metaphor for clearing out outdated beliefs and unhealthy relationships. I realized that by allowing myself to release what no longer served me, I could see myself and my surroundings more clearly. Releasing attachments led to a sense of freedom I hadn't anticipated. It allowed me to embrace uncertainty without the safety net I had grown accustomed to. I started to create new connections that were not based on what I owned or what I believed, but rather on shared experiences and mutual understanding. This newfound openness encouraged me to stay curious and engaged with the world around me. Ultimately, it showed me that my true identity isn't reliant on what I possess, but on how I connect and interact with life itself. One practical tip to begin this journey is to set aside a little time each week to evaluate your attachments. Consider what items, beliefs, or relationships are taking up mental and emotional space. Could you benefit from letting go of even a small fraction of them? This simple act can lead to profound personal growth. The monk who carried the stone, letting go to lighten the soul. A long time ago, in a quiet village nestled between misty mountains, there lived a monk who was well respected for his wisdom. One day, while on a pilgrimage, he encountered a large stone blocking the path. Instead of looking for a way around it, he decided to carry the stone. For days, he bore its weight, convinced that it was a test of strength and perseverance. As he walked, other travelers passed by, some stopping to offer assistance, but he declined. He thought that carrying the stone was his burden to bear, and it would be foolish to burden others with it. Gradually, however, the heavy stone became a part of his identity. The pain in his shoulders grew, and his spirit felt weighed down. It was only after meeting a wise old woman who asked him, "Why do you carry what you do not need?" that he paused and began to reflect. It dawned on him that the stone was not just a physical burden. It symbolized everything he clung to in life, old grudges, fears, and past mistakes. That moment of realization marked the beginning of his journey towards letting go. In our own lives, we can take small steps to lighten our burdens. Start by identifying one thing today that you can let go of: a negative thought, an outdated belief, or a grudge you've been holding. Visualize what it would feel like to release it, and take a moment to breathe deeply, acknowledging the space that comes with that release. Embrace simplicity and focus on the present moment, for in letting go, we create room for growth and healing. The next time you find yourself bearing the weight of regret or unnecessary expectations, remember the monk who carried the stone and choose to set your burdens down, allowing your soul to soar. Chapter 7. The Silence Beyond Words. How Meditation Unveils the True Nature of I. Meditation serves as a powerful tool for peeling back the layers of our identity, exposing the true essence of who we are beyond the ego. When I first started practicing meditation, I was surprised to discover how much of my daily thoughts and feelings were influenced by an overwhelming desire to fit into the expectations of those around me. The ego often presents itself as a flashy, exaggerated version of self, screaming for attention and validation. Through meditation, I began to witness this chatter quieting down, allowing me to sit with myself in pure awareness. It's in this stillness that I realized my real self is not defined by achievements or public images, but rather by deeper, quieter truths that reside within. This essence is compassionate, curious, and connected to everything. The shifting from the noise of the ego to the calm of meditation creates a space where self-discovery can flourish, revealing attributes of love and authenticity that have always been present but overshadowed by the constant demands of life. To integrate mindfulness into everyday life, start by carving out small moments throughout your day for a practice of awareness. Even a few minutes can make a significant difference. As I learned, focusing on my breath became a reliable anchor. I would take a brief pause whenever I felt overwhelmed, inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. This simple act helped ground my thoughts and bring me back to the present moment. Furthermore, try to engage fully in each activity. Whether it's eating, walking, or even washing dishes, allow yourself to experience each moment fully. Notice the textures, colors, and sounds around you. This heightened sense of awareness reveals insights about your reactions and feelings that daily distractions often mask. Keep a journal nearby and jot down moments of clarity or understanding that arise during these practices. This can help reinforce the transformation occurring within you. As you wander deeper into your meditation and mindfulness journey, remember that it's okay to experience discomfort. Embrace it as part of the process. The goal isn't to eliminate thoughts or sensations, but to observe them without attachment, fostering a deeper understanding of your true self. When you approach daily life with this mindset, you'll start to notice the beautiful, intricate patterns of your thoughts and feelings. Embracing these insights can profoundly change how you relate to yourself and the world, inviting in a sense of peace and clarity that nourishes your inner being. Observing thoughts without attachment. The first step in practicing detached observation of thoughts is to find a quiet space where you can sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, focusing on the air filling your lungs and the gentle flow of your exhale. As you settle into this moment, allow your thoughts to surface naturally. Rather than clinging to them or pushing them away, simply notice them as they come and go. Imagine each thought as a cloud floating across the sky. You acknowledge their presence without judging or engaging with them. If a particular thought starts to catch your attention, recognize it and gently bring your focus back to your breathing. This practice isn't about silencing your mind, but about creating a space between you and your thoughts, like standing on the shore and watching the waves roll in and out. Through this practice, I've experienced a profound increase in self-awareness and a sense of inner peace. By observing my thoughts without becoming entangled in them, I often discover underlying patterns and triggers that I wasn't aware of before. This awareness helps me separate my true self from my thoughts, allowing me to respond to situations rather than react impulsively. As I continue to practice, I find that my emotions become less overwhelming. Instead of feeling controlled by my thoughts, I can view them as mere moments in time. The more I engage in this practice, the clearer the distinction between my thoughts and my identity becomes, leading to an incredible sense of calm and clarity. It's essential to remember that this is a journey. Each session of practice won't feel the same, and that's completely okay. Some days are easier than others, and that's part of the process. Gradually, you can incorporate short moments of detached observation into your day, simply pausing in the middle of whatever you're doing to notice your thoughts. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, it can be beneficial to take a moment to breathe deeply, observe your thoughts, and remind yourself that they do not define you. This technique can transform your relationship with your inner dialogue and create a lasting sense of peace and presence in your life. Chapter 8. The Power of I Am. Using the affirmation I am as a doorway to transcendence. The affirmation I am serves as a catalyst, awakening a profound power within us. These two words, seemingly simple, can shape our reality in ways we often underestimate. When I utter or think I am, I acknowledge my existence, my essence, and the limitless potential that resides within me. It's a declaration of being, a recognition of the present moment where I stand powerful and whole. This powerful affirmation connects me to the vibrational frequency of self-awareness and presence. It invites me to reflect on who I truly am beyond societal labels, expectations, or fears. Each time I embrace I am, I affirm my individuality, my strengths, and my capacity for growth. It's in this affirmation that I find the doorway to transcendence, a portal that opens to deeper understanding and connection to the universe. As I delve deeper into the layers of this simple phrase, I discover that my thoughts and beliefs about myself are directly tied to my experiences. When I declare I am worthy, I am capable, or I am enough, I actively shape my perception of reality. Each I am holds the vibrational energy of possibility and purpose, echoing in the universe, aligning my intentions with my existence. This realization empowers me to break free from limitations, dismantling the barriers of self-doubt and fear that often hold me captive. Through this exploration, I come to understand that I am is not just a phrase, it is an invitation to step into my authenticity. Incorporating I am into my daily life has transformed my journey of personal and spiritual growth. I have found that weaving this affirmation into my morning routine sets a powerful tone for my day. Each morning, I take a moment to stand before the mirror, look into my own eyes, and affirm my intentions for the day. I say things like I am strong, I am loved, or I am open to new experiences. This practice reminds me of my strength and potential as I move through the day. Journaling is another powerful method I've embraced. I write down various I am statements and reflect on their meanings in my life. Through this process, I uncover hidden beliefs and emotions, allowing me to confront challenges and reframe my experiences. Writing helps me clarify what I truly want to manifest, propelling me towards my aspirations with clarity and commitment. Meditation also plays a crucial role in this transformative journey. I sit quietly, focusing on my breath, and when I feel centered, I repeat I am phrases that resonate with my heart. This practice deepens my connection to my inner self and allows the affirmations to settle into my consciousness. With each repetition, I feel a stronger sense of belonging and alignment with my higher purpose. Ultimately, the key to using I am as a tool for personal growth is to allow it to guide me toward authenticity. I remind myself that I can redefine what these words mean at any moment. This thoughtful engagement with I am not only enhances my personal journey, but also encourages spiritual exploration, fostering a richer, more fulfilling life experience. To maximize the power of I am, consider setting intentions before you speak or think it. Ask yourself what you truly want to embody, and then state it with conviction. This practice can create profound shifts, aligning your life with your deepest desires. The lotus blooms in still waters, not in turbulence. Inner stillness is not just a pleasant concept, it is a necessity for personal transformation. As I reflect on my journey, I recognize that moments of clarity have almost always emerged when I found time for silence amidst the noise. Life, with its incessant demands and chaos, often leads me to believe that I must keep moving, keep doing. Yet, it is within those serene moments of quiet reflection that I am able to reassess my path and understand my true self. The process of transformation does not thrive in an environment of constant activity. Just like the lotus flower blossoms beautifully from the depths of muddy waters, I learn that growth requires me to dive deep into my own stillness to rise above the turbulence surrounding me. In those peaceful moments, I gain insights about my values, my desires, and ultimately who I want to become. To cultivate tranquility amidst the chaos of life, I've found it essential to carve out pockets of time dedicated to stillness. This might mean waking up a little earlier to enjoy the quiet of the morning, or setting aside a few minutes in the middle of a busy day to breathe and settle my thoughts. It can be as simple as closing my eyes, taking a few deep breaths, and tuning into the rhythm of my own heartbeat. In these sacred moments, I learn to acknowledge the chaos around me without letting it consume my spirit. The practice of mindfulness, especially in turbulent times, allows me to separate myself from external noise. By nurturing this inner calm, I create fertile ground for true growth. It is here that I can sift through distractions and rediscover my passions, envision my goals, and ultimately nurture the wisdom that will guide my decisions. Establishing a routine that honors this tranquility is integral to my daily life. I have found that engaging in activities like meditation, journaling, or simply taking walks in nature fosters this peace. Each of these practices allows me to reconnect with myself and the world around me. A practical tip is to find a simple anchor, a small ritual that can ground you when life's chaos threatens to sweep you away. It could be lighting a candle, sipping a cup of tea while gazing out a window, or even listening to soft music. Whatever it is, allow yourself to return to it regularly. This will create a sense of familiarity and comfort, nurturing your ability to bloom like a lotus in still waters, flourishing amidst even the most turbulent of times. Chapter 9. The Emptiness of Self. Understanding no self, anatta, and finding freedom in its realization. The concept of no self, or anatta, is fundamental in various spiritual traditions, especially in Buddhism. It suggests that the self, as we commonly understand it, a permanent, unchanging entity, is actually an illusion. Instead, we are a collection of transient experiences, feelings, and thoughts. This notion challenges the deeply ingrained belief that we have a fixed, independent self that defines who we are. The significance of recognizing anatta lies in its potential to foster profound transformation. When we begin to see ourselves as fluid and interconnected rather than rigid and separate, we open ourselves to a broader experience of life. Many spiritual paths emphasize this understanding because it invites a deeper exploration of our interconnectedness with others and the world around us. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating, as it encourages us to let go of the ego's relentless need for control and identification. Realizing the concept of no self can liberate us from suffering in ways that might initially be difficult to imagine. When we cling to the idea of a solid self, we also attach ourselves to a myriad of expectations and desires, leading to disappointment and pain. Our attachment creates a cycle of craving and aversion, perpetuating our suffering. However, when we embrace the notion of no self, we can begin to release these attachments. Without a fixed self to defend or protect, we can approach life with greater openness and acceptance. This freedom allows us to engage with our experiences without being overly identified with them. When I started to grasp the idea of anatta, I found that I could face challenges and uncertainties with less fear. Instead of feeling like I was being swallowed by my struggles, I began to see them as part of the ever-changing flow of life. Practicing mindfulness can greatly assist in realizing the concept of no self. It encourages us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, helping us discern that they are not permanent fixtures of our identity. By regularly engaging in mindfulness, we cultivate a space where we can recognize the transient nature of our feelings and experiences. This practice ultimately leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship with the world. Embracing no self doesn't mean losing our individuality or uniqueness. Rather, it's about freeing ourselves from the constraints of a false identity. We can begin to experience a more profound sense of peace and harmony when we acknowledge that the self is a process, not a product. This realization allows for a transformative journey toward authentic living, where we can cherish the moment without being burdened by what we think we should be. The sky is vast because it holds nothing. Consider the sky, stretching infinitely above us. It appears endless and boundless, seemingly empty, yet brimming with possibility. This powerful analogy encapsulates the vast potential found in emptiness. Just like the sky, our lives can feel overwhelming with the weight of expectations, clutter, and distractions. Yet, when we embrace the concept of emptiness, we open ourselves to a realm of opportunities. Emptiness is not a void, it is a canvas awaiting our creative expression. It is a space where ideas can flourish, relationships can deepen, and self-discovery can occur. Recognizing that something can be profoundly full while seemingly empty allows us to appreciate the depth of possibilities that lie before us. Embracing emptiness can act as a bridge to connect with the broader universe. When we allow ourselves to experience moments of stillness, we can tune in to the subtle hints of inspiration around us. In those quiet moments, it's easier to reflect on who we are and what we truly desire. The vastness of the sky reminds us that we, too, are part of something larger. Our lives, filled with everyday chaos, can find moments of calm. In these pauses, we can explore our thoughts, dreams, and aspirations. By leaning into this emptiness, we invite a sense of wonder and curiosity that can lead us to discover new pathways. Emptiness is a vital part of existence. It teaches us to value balance and fosters a deeper connection with both ourselves and the world. Next time you find yourself overwhelmed, take a moment to observe the sky. Let its vastness inspire you to embrace the emptiness within your own life. Recognize that this space is not something to fear, but rather an opportunity to harness your creativity and potential. Allow the beauty of this metaphor to transform how you approach challenges, letting go of the need for constant fulfillment. Instead, create space for new ideas and experiences to emerge. Engaging with emptiness can lead to clarity, peace, and a deeper connection to the universe around you. Remember, just as the sky holds the promise of a new day, so too does the emptiness in your life hold the potential for renewal and growth. Chapter 10. Compassion as Identity. Replacing the I with universal love. As I delve deeper into my journey of self-discovery, I find that replacing the I with love and compassion transforms not just my thoughts, but my entire sense of self. It's fascinating how the simple act of fostering love shifts my perspective. Instead of seeing myself as a solitary entity navigating the world, I begin to feel a part of something grander. This transition is subtle yet profound. I notice the warmth of connection growing, not just with those I know, but with strangers, animals, and the environment around me. Each interaction becomes a potential bridge, a chance to express kindness, encouraging a reflective state where I ask, how can I contribute to someone else's happiness today? By reshaping my self-identity through love, I find that the barriers I once held around my heart begin to dissolve. The more I cultivate this love, the more expansive my sense of self becomes, allowing me to embrace collective experiences instead of just individual ones. Understanding our interconnectedness is a powerful realization that can deeply influence how we relate to one another. I often reflect on the threads that tie us together, woven through shared experiences, emotions, and struggles. This awareness fosters a profound sense of empathy. When I witness pain in another, I don't feel detached from it. Rather, I sense an echo of my own experiences within their suffering. It is as if their pain resonates within me, igniting a desire to reach out and offer support. This empathy creates a ripple effect, one that encourages me to act with kindness, reminding me that every individual I encounter is navigating their unique journey. By embracing our interconnectedness, I discover that every act of love, no matter how small, contributes to a larger tapestry that binds us together. It is this understanding that motivates me to replace selfish tendencies with actions that promote collective happiness and well-being. By adopting a mindset rooted in love and empathy, I am reminded daily of simple, yet significant actions that can make a difference. Even in challenging situations, I can pause and ask myself how my response might uplift or harm another. This mindset doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes, a smile to a stranger or a genuine compliment can shift someone's day entirely. The beauty lies in the way these small moments build a culture of care and compassion. I encourage you to integrate these simple acts into your daily life. Remember that the love we cultivate doesn't just enrich our own lives. It has the power to transform the lives of others, ultimately creating a world that reflects the profound connection we all share. Walking the world as if it were your body. Embodying compassion in our everyday interactions can transform the way we engage with others. When I approach someone, seeing them as an extension of myself, I feel a shift in my heart and mind. This practice isn't just about sympathy or kind gestures. It's about understanding the essence of another person as if they were a part of my own experience. For instance, when I encounter a stranger, I pause to consider their journey, their struggles, and their joys. This simple change in perspective makes it easier to offer a smile, a kind word, or a small act of service. Rather than viewing people as separate entities moving through their own lives, I remind myself that we are all interconnected. The waitress at my favorite cafe, the bus driver on my commute, even the person who holds the door open for me. Each one is navigating a complex world much like my own. Practicing this mindset allows me to treat every interaction with deliberate kindness, creating ripples of compassion that extend far beyond the moment. To foster a deeper connection with all beings, I've discovered several powerful exercises that can shift my perception. One of my favorites is the compassion walk. As I walk through my neighborhood or a busy street, I make it a point to notice the people around me. I look into their eyes and imagine their stories. What struggles might they face? What brings them joy? This practice helps me cultivate empathy. Another exercise involves journaling my interactions. At the end of the day, I write about moments when I felt a connection with someone, however brief. I reflect on how those connections made me feel and consider how I might enhance future encounters. This not only heightens my awareness of others, but also encourages me to practice gratitude for the shared human experience. By regularly engaging in these exercises, I find that my ability to empathize grows stronger, allowing me to navigate the world with a heart that beats in rhythm with those around me. Embodying compassion in daily life isn't always easy, but bringing mindful awareness into our interactions can make a profound difference. When I prioritize compassion, I find that my worries lessen and my ability to connect deepens. A simple tip is to set an intention at the start of each day. I remind myself that everyone I will encounter is experiencing their own battles and that my kindness could offer a moment of light. By practicing this, I keep the neurons of empathy firing and my heart open, ultimately enriching my life and the lives of others around me. Chapter 11. Beyond Success and Failure. Freeing yourself from external validation. Relying on external influences to define our success or failure can deeply distort our self-concept. I know this from personal experience. When I sought approval from others, my sense of worth tangled itself in their opinions and judgments. I found myself wearing a mask, conforming to the expectations of family, friends, or society, convinced that my value hinged on their validation. Each accomplishment or setback became a reflection of my self-worth, leading to emotional highs and painful lows. The moment I achieved something notable, I felt worthy. But if I stumbled, my confidence would plummet. This roller coaster experience often left me feeling hollow, for the applause of others was fleeting, and the achievements, however grand, didn't fill the void I felt inside. To explore self-worth that exists independently of social pressures, it became essential to nurture a sense of self that wasn't reliant on external validation. I started asking myself what truly mattered to me instead of what I thought should matter according to societal standards. I began to examine my personal values, those guiding lights that reflect who I am at my core. This introspection was transformative. It helped me recognize that my worth is intrinsic. I discovered that fulfillment comes from embracing my passions, whether that means pursuing a hobby, engaging in meaningful work, or nurturing relationships that bring me joy. By focusing on what I love and what resonates with me, I began to appreciate my efforts and successes on a personal level. I learned that it's okay to celebrate my small victories and to acknowledge my struggles without equating them to failure. One practical tip that helped me shift my mindset is to practice gratitude focused on oneself. Each day, I made it a point to acknowledge at least one thing I appreciate about myself, whether it be a trait, an achievement, or a kindness I extended to another. This simple act of reflection slowly built a foundation of self-acceptance and love, steering me away from the need for external affirmation. By fostering an internal compass that guides the way I see myself, I've found that I can stand tall, regardless of what the world thinks or how it responds to my journey. The farmer's luck, accepting life as it comes. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a farmer named Lee. He was known for his hardworking nature and deep connection to the land. One fine spring morning, as he prepared his fields for planting, he came across a strange sight. A wild horse had wandered into his property. Many would have viewed this as a stroke of luck, but Lee approached it differently. Instead of keeping the horse for himself, he realized it was better to let nature take its course. He opened the gate, allowing the horse to escape back into the wild. Some villagers scoffed at his decision. They believed he had neglected a golden opportunity. "How foolish," they said. Yet, Lee simply smiled, for he understood that life was not about seizing every chance, but about finding harmony within its unpredictable flow. Weeks passed, and fate returned with a surprise. The wild horse reappeared, but this time it brought with it another, tamer horse. This unexpected gift changed the dynamics of Lee's farm. As he looked back on his decision to let go, he realized the weight of stressing over things beyond his control was lifted from him. He had embraced the twists of fate instead of wrestling with them. Through this experience, he learned that accepting life as it comes often yields greater rewards than rigidly clinging to the notion of control. Each twist had brought him an opportunity to grow, not just in wealth but in wisdom. As I reflect on Lee's journey, I see how his experience can resonate with all of us. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with surprises that can range from delightful to daunting. Embracing this unpredictability can lead to a profound sense of peace. When we stop clinging to rigid expectations and allow ourselves to adapt to whatever comes our way, we open ourselves to new possibilities. Much like Lee, accepting the ebb and flow of life can lead us toward unforeseen blessings. So remember, sometimes letting go can result in the best fortune of all, allowing the universe to present us with gifts we never expected. Chapter 12. The Eternal Now. Fully inhabiting the present moment as the truest expression of being. The present moment is where our true selves reside, and its importance in our quest for authenticity cannot be overstated. We often find ourselves lost in a web of past regrets or future anxieties, drowning in thoughts that pull us away from the here and now. What's truly remarkable is that every moment offers a unique experience that can only be appreciated if we allow ourselves to be fully present. When we immerse ourselves in the present, we tap into a wellspring of authenticity, where we can truly reflect on who we are and what we desire. It's in these moments of awareness that our inner voice becomes clearer, guiding us toward choices that resonate with our true selves. The more we embrace the present, the more our lives transform into reflections of our essence, filled with genuine feelings and actions. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to ground ourselves in the present. Mindfulness is not just a trendy term. It's a powerful tool that can shift our entire perspective. One simple practice involves focusing on your breath. As you sit comfortably, take a deep breath in, allow it to fill every part of your lungs, and then slowly exhale. This process draws your attention to your body and the sensations that accompany each breath. As thoughts drift in, acknowledge them without judgment and gently redirect your focus back to your breath. This simple act cultivates awareness and helps settle the mind, creating space for clarity. Another excellent practice is mindful walking, where each step you take becomes an opportunity to notice the world around you. The feel of the ground beneath your feet, the sounds of nature, and even the rhythm of your breath. These practices remind us that the present moment is dynamic and full of opportunities for connection. Incorporating these mindfulness practices into our daily routines can significantly enhance our ability to stay present. It's not about emptying our minds of thoughts, but instead weaving a deeper awareness into our experiences. The more we practice, the easier it becomes to return to the present, especially when life's challenges arise. A practical tip to consider is to set aside a few minutes each day to disconnect from distractions. Putting away phones and stepping away from screens can open up space for connection with the now. As you sit, observe your surroundings, breathe, and allow yourself the grace of simply being. This practice can lead to profound insights about yourself and the world around you, reinforcing the power of living in the present moment. Time dissolves when the eye rests in the now. When I pause and really immerse myself in the present moment, I notice an incredible shift in how I perceive time. It's as if the rushing currents of hours and minutes dissolve, making space for a profound stillness. I can remember moments when I was lost in a conversation, the world around us fading into the background, and it felt like the clock stood still. In those fleeting instances, I experienced a richness in life that transcends the ordinary. The chatter of my mind quieted down, and I became fully aware of the textures of the moment. the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a friend, or even the taste of my favorite meal. These experiences remind me that time isn't just a linear progression, but a canvas painted vivid by our awareness. When we're truly present, time stretches, savored like a fine wine, allowing us to savor the beauty and complexity of each experience. Resting in the present has the remarkable power to free us from the emotional baggage we often carry. Every worry about tomorrow or regret from yesterday can weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, but when I consciously choose to focus on now, those burdens start to lift. I remember a time when I was overwhelmed by a project due at work. Instead of spiraling into anxiety about deadlines, I grounded myself in the current task. I realized that preoccupying myself with the future would do little but cloud my focus. Gradually, I learned that by returning my attention to what I was doing at that very moment, everything else faded. My mind quieted, and clarity emerged. It became evident that the present is the only time we truly have to act, reflect, and experience life. As I engage fully with the now, I begin to let go of the past's regrets and the future's uncertainties. This liberating feeling fosters a sense of peace and acceptance, allowing me to navigate life's challenges with a lighter heart. To cultivate this presence in your own life, try starting small. Set aside a few moments each day where you can fully engage with your surroundings, whether it's during a meal, a walk, or even while listening to music. Notice the sensations and feelings that arise without judgment. This practice can anchor you to the present and gradually reveal the timeless wisdom that lies within. Conclusion: the Great Dissolution. The journey from I am this to simply I am. Embarking on the transformative journey of shedding labels feels like peeling away layers of an onion. Each label I once wore defined a piece of my identity: my job, my hobbies, my relationships, and even my beliefs. However, as I began to explore what it truly meant to exist without these identifiers, I discovered that the real essence of who I am lies beyond those surface-level descriptions. It was a gradual process of awareness. At first, I clung tightly to labels that gave me a sense of belonging or purpose. Yet, with each moment of reflection, I realized how limiting this identification could be. Stripping these labels off was liberating, allowing me to dive deeper into my true self, unencumbered by societal expectations and the need for external validation. The importance of this journey towards finding simplicity in my identity cannot be overstated. It's as though navigating a labyrinth of my own making, where the walls were constructed from preconceived notions and self-imposed categories. As I embraced a simpler identity, realizing that I am conveys all the depth and complexity required, I unveiled the beauty of being present in my own existence. This journey brought clarity and peace, helping me understand that identity is not something fixed but fluid, ever evolving with life's experiences. Instead of being tied to roles or achievements, I learned to find strength in simply being. This shift toward simplicity in identity invites everyone to explore their true essence and fosters a connection to the world that is profound and unclouded. A useful tip for anyone on this journey is to take a moment each day to sit with yourself in silence. Ask, who am I without my labels? Let the answers flow naturally without judgment or pressure. This exercise encourages a deeper awareness of your authentic self, separate from external definitions. As you practice this, you will find that the essence of I am becomes clearer, leading to a more fulfilling existence. Embracing the paradox of selflessness as the truest self. Finding true self and selflessness presents a fascinating paradox. When we think about selflessness, it can often feel counterintuitive. It seems that by giving ourselves up for others, we might lose our identity. Yet, through my own experiences, I have discovered that selflessness holds the key to unveiling our most authentic selves. In moments of genuine self-giving, whether through acts of kindness or deep compassion, I often feel an unexpected surge of clarity. I recognize facets of who I am that remain hidden when I'm solely focused on my own desires and ambitions. It's in those instances where our hearts connect with others that we can see reflections of our true essence. This paradox encourages us to step outside of our narratives, revealing a richness that comes from being a part of something larger than ourselves. It's as if selflessness invites us to peel away the layers of ego, revealing the core of our character, one defined by empathy and genuine connection. Realizing the profound truth that selflessness can lead to a richer, more connected life transforms how we interact with the world. Each act of selflessness fosters connections that enrich our daily experiences. I have embraced opportunities to help others, which has colored my life with deeper relationships and meaningful interactions. The more I engage in compassionate acts, whether volunteering my time, listening to a friend in need, or simply offering a warm smile to a stranger, the more vibrant and fulfilling my life feels. This journey has shown me that the bonds formed through shared humanity fill emptiness that often accompanies self-centered pursuits. It's a continuous cycle. The more we give of ourselves, the more we receive in terms of emotional wealth and connection. We start to see not just a world filled with individual stories, but a collective experience that we all share, enhancing our understanding of what it truly means to live. To cultivate this path towards selflessness, I find it invaluable to approach each day with an openness to opportunities for connection and kindness. Whether through simple gestures or bigger commitments, allowing ourselves to listen and respond to the needs of those around us can lead to profound experiences. It also encourages a mindset shift, where we see our identities intertwined with others rather than separate. Practicing gratitude for the connections we foster reminds us that we are not alone on this journey. So, the next time you encounter a chance to be selfless, remember that it might just be the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of who you are. Embrace that moment and let it guide you toward a more connected life. The candle does not lose itself when its flame lights another. In the quiet moments of reflection, I often think about the nature of sharing love and light with others. It's a profound truth that when we extend our kindness, we seem to amplify our own existence. Just as a candle burns brighter when it ignites another, we discover that love grows in the act of sharing. Each act of compassion, whether a warm smile, a helping hand, or simply being present for someone in need, enriches our own lives in unexpected ways. It's as if every gesture of light creates ripples, spreading warmth not only to those we touch but echoing back into our own hearts. The joy we pass to others boomerangs back, illuminating our paths and deepening our connections to each other. As we consider this beautiful truth, it's vital to carry this understanding into the world. Every interaction provides an opportunity to uplift ourselves and those around us. When we commit to sharing our light, we foster a world that reflects our collective goodness. It's simple. By choosing to be a source of positivity and support, we strengthen our inner selves and encourage those we encounter to do the same. Embracing this mindset transforms not just our experiences, but also the lives of others, inspiring them to shine their own light brightly. Consider this. The next time you encounter someone lost in their struggles, take a moment to offer a word of encouragement or a gesture of kindness. It may seem small, but like the flame of a candle igniting another, you spark a chain reaction of warmth and hope. To truly embody this reflection, remember that even the smallest acts of kindness hold incredible power. Approach each day with an intention to share your light, and witness how you illuminate not only your own journey, but also the paths of those around you. In doing so, you contribute to a brighter, more loving world. Thank you for listening to I Am, Unveiling the Illusion of Self by Mindful Literary. Remember, the journey of understanding who you truly are is ongoing. Each step you take towards uncovering the illusion of I is a step closer to freedom, clarity, and compassion. As you move forward, may you find peace in the infinite now and joy in the simple truth of being. If this audiobook has inspired you, share it with someone who's ready to explore the depths of their own existence. Until next time, live in the light of your true essence.